If you take money away from one guy and divide it up among 9 guys, you have a 90% approval rating. He's very popular. This take money away from the rich guys is a very popular strategy. That'll work for him.
Yeah,
it'll
it's
destroy
popular,
the economy, but it'll work for him.
There's also a movement beginning to happen, even with the guys not making the $250,000 or more, the rich guys, that are starting to get really irritated at the remote thought that if they actually cross that threshold, they too are going to get bombarded with this. So I don't think the divide is happening as much as.
Here's an interesting question along the lines of what you just brought up. This is Ray said, and we had this discussion yesterday. Sometime this week, it's all melding together. But we had a guy sitting. Oh God, can I get another chair, dudes? Yeah. There was a guy on who was talking about health care, and he loved the fact that he paid substantially less for his health care in Belgium than he paid when he lived here. And I said, well, what's your tax rate, by the way? He said 56%
right,
of his income.
right.
And I said, well, what about this value-added tax? Oh, yeah, well, that's about 21%. I said, okay, yeah. Well, hello. Okay, I'd rather pay. Here's the question, though. What about a value-added tax here?
Oh, boy.
Value-added tax plays well to conservative ears because they think of it as an alternative to the income tax. But with Pelosi, Reid, and Obama there, you're going to get both taxes.
Right, exactly.
So, though, this is not a good place to go. And by the way, your buddy in Belgium, who's paying those taxes and loves his health care, if he needs surgery, he's going to fly to New York.
I asked him that. I said, God forbid, you need brain surgery. Where are you going? He said, I'll stay in Belgium. I said, you sure?
Yeah,
sure.
Right.
And he looked at me, but he said he would. He was very happy with
the only place I would go outside the United States for an operation is Japan if I had stomach cancer because they have the greatest success rate.
Well, they have the most of it.
They have
right?
the most of it.
That's right. They're highly practiced.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, highly practiced.
Right.
Stephen McCullough wants to know, did Straka and I forget? Did we forget what, Stephen? You mean, did we forgive and forget? Yeah, we're buddies now. We're cool. After 2010, this goes away. Live for today, you turds, because tomorrow it's not going to come. What?
Where, is it the apocalypse?
What? That must be a 100-year-old man writing in, because I'll
Scott.
tell you.
And if I remember, Scott's in his 30s, because he emails once in a while. Scott's in Indiana. Maybe I could be wrong. He's a retired Air Force. So I'm not sure what goes away after 2010. What goes away after 2010? What changes? Hey, do we get a sweeping change in Congress in 2010, or is it just going to be more of the same?
The way to do it, if I owned the White House and I wanted to change Congress, I would begin aggressively trying to impose price and wage controls on the economy, which they're starting to do, because that's the surest way to screw up the economy, jobs, stock market, and everything else. And then you can get people mad. But the truth is, I think they're playing this anger thing pretty darn well.
All right, what about, go ahead.
I don't think we're going to see this. I do think we will see a sweeping change in Congress in 2010. And Dick Morris actually said something that I thought was pretty interesting yesterday, that around 2010 we're going to start to see Hillary start to attack Obama so that she can start to make her play for 2012. And I think at that point...
Dick Mo said that?
Dick Mo said that.
Come on, Rutledge. You were inside the White House. Is that... Would that in 2010?
They've got Hillary.
Hillary or 20
in this little box.
2016.
Hillary would do anything to try and win that job, but Obama's
2016?
got her. She's 100. Obama's got her boxed out pretty well. He's got her in charge of the State Department, except every part of the world that's interesting is carved out.
Listening to the same shows I listen to.
Absolutely. So she's got nothing to do. But the fact is, she needs to have an opening from him to get people angry in order for her to have a chance.
Right now, Obama's just using her to shut up Bill and to keep her quiet.
Guys, email some questions. We have the docs in the house. They know everything about everything. They especially know everything about starting businesses, if you want to know. How about Chrysler and GM? Chrysler, we know about. GM, we got 1,100 notifications today of closings. But, I interviewed a couple of GM dealers today. And a Chrysler dealer that was shut down. They're not going out of business. They're not going. The ones they're shutting down are the ones that weren't selling many cars. I had a Chrysler dealer on. I said, "How many cars did you sell last year?" And he said, "A couple hundred." A couple hundred. I mean, listen. I feel awful for these people, but here they're trying to keep this big dealership network afloat, and they're only selling a couple hundred cars at a dealership.
Well, they need to get rid of the small dealerships and get some bigger ones. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. to shut the ones that aren't doing so well.
What do we do?
If you look at small town America, the rich guys in every small town America is the local car dealer because they get a monopoly chip. It's like having a taxi medallion. And when times like these, in a car dealership, the way you make money is in the service part and the parts, not in the new car sales. When you shut the new car sales down, you lose a huge amount of revenue for those things, and they will be shrinking. So it's a tough time for them. But the dealer network is an idea that was a 1950s idea anyway. Why do you need to have?
Online.
Yeah, why do you
That's
need to
it,
have
mine.
4,000 Chevys sitting on a lot someplace to look at in order to buy a car?
Just build to
You could
order.
buy them all straight out of the
Just
factory.
in time,
Absolutely.
build to order, like I did with my last couple of cars, one on eBay. And you know what? Those taxi medallions in New York City cost $250,000.
More.
The last guy I talked to
yeah.
said $250.
No,
But he bought
when
those
I
5
moved the
years ago.
city 20 years ago, it was $140,000. I think they approached $400,000, $400 grand. This guy probably leased it, so he doesn't even know what they're worth.
Yeah.
But you know, the question was to the dealer, what are you going to do now?
Yeah.
Well, I'll stay open. I'll still do repairs. You know, I'll try and maybe get a Honda dealership in here, get a Honda deal in here.
Where the dealers get hosed is if they had not long ago put money in the ground to build one of these new big car dealerships outside of town, and they have big brick and mortar payments. Those are the guys that really get in trouble when they're not selling.
Maybe they need to start selling complimentary goods. Open a body shop on the lot. Do more repairs. Sell motorcycles. Sell something else as a complimentary good to the custom kits for these cars. Make them faster, for God's sake.
Bob wants to know if ask the doctors if they think Obama will ever go after churches to have their taxes exempt status removed.
That wouldn't be a bad idea, along with taxing hospitals. In many cities in America, if you allow all these guys off the tax rolls, there's only one guy left owning a business who's paying taxes, and the tax base is too small to run things. So everybody gets a free ride on the taxes.
I don't think we're going to see churches taxed because
probably not.
it's a
This is
political
good
issue.
stuff. This
Probably
is good stuff.
not.
I want to get to this in
I
about
would
a
do
minute.
it, but
hey,
probably
Rick
not.
wants to know, and this is a very good question, Rick. You're 100% right. Why are they shutting down dealerships when it doesn't cost the car companies any money? In my town, if a GM dealer shuts down, the GM owners will have to drive or have their cars towed over 100 miles away for warranted service. Rick in Coos Bay, Oregon.
Because what you need to understand is that the car dealerships are not owned by the car companies. Car dealerships are owned by local guys who got the franchise.
So why
they
close
own
them?
it, and that's the.
Why close them?
GM is not closing them. GM is just not supporting them.
In what way?
They have to support them with
product.
rebates and other
Incentives,
sorts of
products, even actually getting the cars there. If it's going to cost them $1,000 a car to get there, and then they're not going to sell the darn thing.
Starbucks doesn't care if there's a Starbucks there and a Starbucks on the next
because they're
corner
both
and
crowded.
maybe one or two in between.
Right.
But they're selling 100 coffees in 5 minutes, not 100
But
in
my
a
point is,
year.
if it doesn't, where is the cost to a GM for the Chrysler dealer
Getting the car
who
there.
shut down, who sold 300 cars last year?
When I moved a car from one part of the country to another, it was about $2,000 on the carrier. So even if they're only paying $500, that's $500 off.
And
the
they're
cost
not
of the
they
car.
don't bake that into the price of the vehicle.
Well, they do, but they're not.
Yeah, but you got to sell it in order to get paid
And
that.
they're not being competitive in the pricing.
What am I missing? I'm Chrysler. I go, well, great. You want to buy the lot? You want to pay, your own employees? I'll just supply. You tell me you want the car, I'll send it to you, and that's it.
Then the dealers
send
are
me the
going to have
money.
to pay for the distribution to get the car there.
Dealer
They're gonna-
pays.
Yeah, the dealer would have to in that model. I mean, as
my
Chrysler,
point is,
I'm
who
not going to pay.
cares? I mean, I'm Chrysler and GM.
No,
explain to me. Help me.
For the lion's share of who loses money when a dealership closes, it's the local dealer. But there's a lot of money flowing back and forth between
Parts?
the dealer
What
and
is
the
it?
and the mothership. It is
Support?
marketing support. It is local media
Okay. All right.
advertising
I get
and
It's
so
getting the
forth.
cars there, which is
I
about
got
it.
$500 per car.
Right. Okay.
And financing inventory through their financing subs.
This is a good question for you guys. I have an idea. I'd like to get patented, but I can't afford it. How do I go about getting investors or get to get the patent, or B, go into production? Any advice? I think you have a great product. That's Joel from Chicago.
Yeah, well, first, Joel, do a patent search. You probably already have it, uspto.gov. Make sure the product or service is not already out there. What I have done in many times in my life is actually created what the hell was that?
This is my wife calling me during the 3 o'clock show that I do every single day called Strategy Room. Honey, I love you. Oh, hi, bud. It's my son too. Hey, you guys, do me a favor. We'll bring a phone. We'll bring a phone and we'll call you back in a couple minutes.
Okay.
Good timing.
So
Friday and ADD.
Go to USPTO.gov.
Again, we were talking about how to get a patent.
Consider a provisional patent, right? This is going to buy you about a year to make sure that your idea or your product is sellable first. And this is something that we talk about a lot on the weekend show, 12 to 2 Eastern on Fox Business every Saturday. Go do the patent search. Make sure it's a new idea, a new product out there. Get a provisional patent. It's going to cost you less than $200. Last time I checked, it's about $165. Rough sketches are fine. Rough use explanations are fine. Get them in there and submit the thing. You can't just mail it to yourself. If you just mail it, since we see your...
This is, look, you guys, you got it. This is the beauty of the strategy room.
I love it.
Pay no attention to the guy behind the
Cutting edge technology.
Well, the guy behind the.
Anyway, USPTO.gov provisional patent. Start there, and then if it's something that works, then you can turn that into a real patent that will probably require a patent attorney at some point, but not yet. Not unless you're 100% sure you're going to go for it.
You ought to do what Danny wants to do, but let me say one more thing. If I were sitting with you in a Starbucks and we had a half an hour, even better over a pitcher of beer, before you spent that $200, I'd be asking you, what is it you think you're going to do with this patent? Is there a way you're going to produce something? $200 is $200, right? It's not $0.
If it makes him feel more comfortable to go out and try and pimp this thing by having his patent, I think that besides that, if nothing else, the exercise will help you. Just kidding. The exercise will help you determine what your competitive potential products are out there.
Let me move on. If you have more on that, email us again. Justice, and this is probably for John. Hi, Eric. Is the Social Security system drying because of government's high expenditure or due to the so-called recession? God bless, Justice from Texas. What is it? What's happening in Social Security?
Justice,
it's just a broken model.
Justice, we're screwed. Here's how it works, right? In 1940s, when Social Security was first there were 10 guys working for every retired guy. So basically, 10 guys would carry an old guy on their back. In the next 20 years, we're going to have 1.8 guys working when the boomers all retire for every retired guy, which means every old guy is going to ride on his own personal young guy's back. So Social Security is not going to pay for retirement. If you look at the cash flow projections for Social Security, they actually turn negative in the next 20 years. We do not have money in the bank. They've been spending this money through the government budget. And so Social Security could have been reformed in 2002 with individual accounts, and it was not. Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid together are the ultimate monkey on our back down the road for spending.
We're screwed. Bottom line,
there are many people also that argue, though, that if we had gone with the plan to make this, to invest this in stock, allow people to invest their own money in the current stock market, they'd be screwed too.
Maddie, help me here, brother. Help me, dude. I want to make this call. I don't know how to do it.
You have those lists of crazy businesses and those graphics?
I do. Hold on. Our last auto purchase was 95% online. So, there you go. Great thought, Hank. What about that? Maybe the dealer model, showroom model is broken anyway.
Exactly.
Exactly. Buy them online.
Buy it online.
Buy them online. You know, if you can add, here's an interesting market, right? Say you're a dealer. You can offer the standard. I don't even know what American cars are made anymore, to be honest with you. I don't pay attention to that market very much. But let's say you're buying a new M3 and you want to customize the darn thing. You can have all of the dealer options, and then you can have the carbon fiber kit, the carbon fiber hood, the Borla exhaust, you name it, and you can add to it. It's a value add. You can upcharge the hell out of those things. You can get the darn thing installed.
Buddy!
It's awesome.
Hold on a second. All right, you're on TV, so don't say anything bad, okay?
Say something bad about Daddy.
Don't say anything bad about Daddy, or that's the end of it. What's up? How was school today?
Good.
How was Mom? All right? You guys
I'm right here.
Oh, you guys getting along?
Oh, yeah, they're having fun. Say hi to Jesse and Jack are here.
Oh, Jesse, Zach, Eric, and Adrian, my wife, Adrian. Okay, what's going on?
We're eating cheese doodles, popcorn, and Oreo cookies.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Is there any breaking? By the way, did you know that we missed a baseball game last night because you thought it was rained out and it was actually just delayed?
Well, I didn't realize they had baseball in thunderstorms when it's pouring rain out.
All right, Eric, go ahead. What? Eric, what'd you say?
What?
Invest in what?
I said invest in Microsoft.
See, you're brilliant. That's genius. I love that idea. Hey, what about invest in Microsoft?
That was a terrific idea in the 20th century.
Basically says before you were born, it was a good idea. All right, I got to go, you guys. Love you. See you later.
Bye. Have a good show.
Bye. All right. I don't know how to turn this thing off. Okay, that's it. Sorry, guys.
All right.
It's Friday.
Yeah.
So we got what I brought this out on a show, and it started to hit home. Okay, so Chrysler is in bankruptcy. It's going to come out with a 55% ownership stake by UAW.
How nice for them.
GM, what, 50%? I think the number's 50% for GM, right?
Probably.
Ford still uses UAW workers. I'm a Ford employee. I own through UAW, right? A UAW Ford line worker. I'm a part of that union. Where am I going to work harder? Am I going to work harder on the GM, on the Cadillac, or am I going to work harder on a Ford Fusion? I don't own any Ford. I own.
You're a member of the United Auto Workers?
Yes.
You're probably not going to work very hard on either one.
That's a good point. Or I might.
Ford.
Or I might work hard at GM and Chrysler.
I've seen this movie before. Look, there was a thing called ESOPs that were invented a long time ago for leveraged buyouts. I ran leveraged buyout funds. If workers own stock, they do work harder. They do try for cash flow and so forth. But not when the stock was given to them by Uncle Obama as a party favor for getting him elected. That's what this is all about. Yeah. He is lock, stock, and barrel owned by the auto workers.
Someone just wanted to know what you two are up to. And they said, here. I assume, Doc's, how come you do this? Why do you appear on Fox? You seem to have a lot going on with your personal businesses. Just an open door for you to plug whatever you want to plug.
We love to be the champion for people that are not sitting at these tables and need to have someone represent their interests. And in particular, small business owners and entrepreneurs that need somebody to ask the hard questions, to answer the hard questions, to get the data and get it out there to a mass number of people so we can help them. The best stories that we get and the ones that we forward to one another are the stories that at the end say, you changed my life, or you changed my family, or this happened because.
We know what the look in the guy's eyes, the father's eyes, is when he comes home laid off from his job. It's awful.
Or about to lose
Today, you've got people sitting out there waiting for the government to save them or sitting like a deer in the headlights afraid. We want people to know that you don't have to be afraid. Get off the couch. Start a business. Start a business, even a little one on the side, even while you're already working. That's why we do this. This is not a money-making venture.
And we're not paid, by the way, for all of you that ask us that question.
Oh, absolutely.
That was one of the questions.
Yeah,
are
no,
you
we're
paid?
not. Absolutely
No, we like being paid, but we're not being paid.
And it does not deter us from doing anything.
Hell no.
It's all good work, you guys. Quick question here. Someone wants to know, with gas prices going up, is that a direct result of the Obama spend and giveaway?
Oh boy, this is an interesting debate between us.
Well, yeah,
go ahead.
Why are they going up in the first place? Week before last, I was in China at a meeting with all the Chinese leaders. The word there was China is growing a hell of a lot faster than anybody thinks. It's going to grow 8% this year.
Isn't that the
China
number they
uses
need,
7.5 million barrels of oil. If they grow 8%, that means they need another 500,000 barrels. That means oil prices have to go up. So it's oil, it's copper, it's lead, it's aluminum, it's all these things. So I own Freeport Mac, and I own BHP, and I own the Norwegian Oil Company in my stock portfolio. That doesn't mean it's good or bad, but it means that's where the buyer's coming from to drive the price up.
Okay, now, gasoline, I'll give it to you, all right? 27 cents a gallon profit on the wholesale level right now, every single gallon. It's called the crack spread. It's strong. That means people are paying for gasoline. They're driving, or they're paying. But are they paying because now they feel they can because they're getting stimulus checks, or they're getting things are getting better? Why is gasoline at the pump up 40% year to date?
Supply and
Oil's
demand.
not.
It's the time of the year. Supply and demand. They can charge that. Why wouldn't they?
It has nothing to do with spending. Has nothing to do with
I don't think so.
throwing a ton of money out the door in Washington.
I don't believe that at all.
You?
No, in fact, the last GDP report showed government spending, surprisingly enough, only up about 3% from a year earlier. There's transfer payment money you're describing. A lot of that's going into iPods, and so people are buying it at the consumer level. But no, I don't think so either. I think that
aren't we getting checks?
$20.
No, I think there's a $250 check mailed out recently, right?
Did you get yours yet?
No,
I didn't get mine.
No. In fact, there was a story, someone ran it on Fox Local News about dead people getting checks.
That was the welfare check, right? The one that even if you didn't pay any.
It's about time somebody became a champion for the dead, because no one speaks for them.
God speaks for them.
Although the Democratic Party speaks for them, I guess, because they vote in Chicago, so that ought to be worth something.
God. Okay, well, here's some interesting news, right? Small Business Administration is getting an extra $730 million. We know where the money's going.
What are they spending
it's
it
a
on?
joke. They're also getting $15 billion from the Treasury to buy up. Here's what we learned today. There's $3 billion in loans sitting out there that banks are holding on to that they can't get rid of, they can't sell. And it is locking up and freezing up the market for Small Business Administration loans. So the government is going to give them $15 billion to buy up some of these treasuries to try and unfreeze that market. The $730 million, you want to know where it's going? Over about half of it is going to a temporary reduction or elimination of loan fees.
In other words, the banks keep the money.
Paying themselves. Okay.
Right.
$255 million is going to an emergency loan program. Loans, this one's not bad. Loans up to $35,000, interest-free, 100% guaranteed, and fast-track to keep businesses up with bills and pay down existing debt. Repayment won't start for 12 months, but
how many are being
made in 5 years.
How many are being made of those?
This is brand new money.
Right.
The old money. Okay, 2007 there were 120 approvals a week. 2008 there were 70 approvals a week, and now there's 20 approvals a week by the SBA.
So they're not giving it up.
They're not giving
They're
it
sitting
up.
out. Let me read these. I love you guys. I'm so happy you do these shows. You help us all get information and knowledge. Thanks to all of you, Jay and Orlando. I had another one of those. Doc, thank you, John and Danny. Doc seem to be genuine good people. That's Ray. And when Rick wants to know,
hey, Ray.
When will taxes go up? We all know the spending has to be paid for. How long before Obama raises taxes for small businesses and the middle class?
He has raised taxes for small businesses in a number of areas, actually. Payroll taxes, cap and trade taxes. The way that here's
cap and trade's not there yet.
It will be. Here's a really big tax that small business owners are going to face. Okay, if let's say you and your significant other are, one of you is a small business owner and one of you is a W-2 employee. It used to be that if one of you made $250,000 or less than $250,000, and one of you made $250,000 in your small business, you were taxed once on that income. You were taxed on the net, and then you were taxed on the $250,000. Now they're combining the two, and you're getting double tax as though you were making $500,000, even though the small business owner is probably reinvesting that money back into the business. You're still going to get taxed on. You're going to get taxed on the gross, even if you put 100%, like I do with my cash, about 100% of my income goes back into my business again. That 100% is going to get taxed.
And there's a dirty secret. The dirty secret is that 80% of all taxes collected at the top income tax rate come from small business owners. Small business owners are mostly S-corps and proprietorships. They do not prepare financial statements. They do not have a balance sheet, which means what they call income, I would call working capital.
You're saying 80% of all corporate taxes are
collected? No. 80% of all taxes collected from people who pay the top rate are paid by small business owners.
5%, top 5%.
Do we know what percentage of the total tax take that is?
That number, I have to dig that number.
Yeah,
I don't have it.
Okay.
5% of whatever the revenue is. But
why are you handing me Manheim Used Vehicle Index?
Because when you're thinking about the world out there, this is the price of a used car. Margins on used cars for dealers are way more than they are for new cars, so that's a way they can survive. But also, if you're trying to look at...
So you're saying with the exiting of new car deal, well, is this the economy also?
There's 200 million used cars in America driving around or sitting on lots. They all got to be owned by somebody. Buying and selling those things is an eBay business that's way, way, way bigger than the new car market. So as you were saying earlier, this is not the end of the world, the fact that the new cars are not being sold.
Selling my used cars on eBay. So that is something everybody should consider. But here's something else about small business owners. If you have about 50% of them employ more than 20 people, they are the ones that are getting hit the hardest by the taxes. The ones that are employing people, the worst thing that we can do.
There's another number. If you look at business loans made by banks, that number has gone in the toilet since the beginning of the year.
Yeah, why? Who are we blaming? Where's the blame for that?
The blame is really a strange one. TARF, TARF, BARF, and all those other programs. TALF.
Why?
TALF is one. The first deal that was done was packaging auto loans and selling it through to hedge funds. That package of stuff is so lucrative for the bank that the bank is shutting down
So you're
all their
blaming
other
the bank
activities.
for not loaning? You're not saying it's
Absolutely.
a demand, it's not the demand side?
It is not the demand. We get calls from small business owners every Saturday, all of whom say the same thing. They say that the bank is shutting down their credit line, one after the other.
Oh my
after
God!
the
There
other.
was a story today about what Chase is doing to customers. If you have a $200,000 line, by the way, Chase customers expect it to drop about 90% in the next 4 weeks.
And don't pay it down, because if you pay it down, they'll reduce the line.
Don't reduce your principal. Just pay your interest for now.
Put the money in another
check
account.
out another bank. Check out SterlingBankcorp.com. It's BANCORP.com. They are actually hardcore going after SBA to try, and they'll actually help you write the plans that you need to get the money. So check those guys out.
Let me read this. Scott, he's mad. He says, hey, if you're working on the Ford Fusion, you're in Mexico, you think Ford didn't take the money because they didn't need it? They're building their effing cars in Mexico. That's Scott. Let me take this one. Hey, Scott, good for them. You know what? If UAW doesn't want to move and they want to protect VIBA benefits for people who are retired, not working anymore, and they're going to make it just an absolute broken business model, move to Mexico. Mm-hmm. There's no UAW in Mexico, right, John? Am I wrong?
No, absolutely. And in fact, the margins of the car companies that are still alive here, they're all making their cash flow offshore anyway, because the profitability is much higher.
We
offshore.
have to get off of this notion, in my view, that everything needs to be made in America. The global trade environment, actually working with other countries, is in everyone's best interest. If we can get the cost of products down, even let's say my paycheck went down by 10% next year, but the cost of everything I buy also goes down 10% because half the stuff I got is from Korea now. Awesome. Fantastic.
Jake says, and I need to do this, refiners are reducing the supply of gasoline, which is reducing the supply. Okay, Jake, Fox covered this morning, Jake and PA. Jake, do me a favor, tell me who covered that, because that is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard, and I'll call out the Fox reporter that came up with that genius idea. Look, at $10 a barrel refining margin, they're going to want to sell as much gasoline as they possibly could. They're not going to hold it back. There's too much competition. If they hold it back, they'll get it from somewhere else. Hey, Chavez would speaking of Chavez, Mr. Hugo Chavez nationalized, or he expropriated something else today. Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez said on Friday that he does not have any plans for now to take over more banks as the government finalizes a deal to buy unit of Spain's Grupo Santander. Chavez was speaking at a news conference in Buenos Aires. But what Jordan forgot to tell you is that he nationalized or expropriated a Cargill commodity plant in Venezuela. He
and
did
the
sugar,
telecom companies before that.
Telecom, a sugar
oil
plant 2 weeks ago, and some oil servicing boats that brought oil workers from land to the platforms. And that was
the real question here, Eric, is what is the intelligence test that a company that sets up operations in Venezuela flunks in order to move their money there?
I'm so glad. We had the CEO of Tidewater, whose boats were expropriated by Chavez. And I said to him, this isn't new. He's been doing this for years. What was the thought process on the board level that said, let's continue to do business? He said, we've been doing business there for 50 years. We expect some of this to go on. I'm like, okay, fair enough. Cost of doing business.
There are some businesses where you got enough moving parts that if you put $10 on every spot on the board, you might do okay, and even though you get hosed in one area. But Venezuela is like a big red zone around it. Don't go there.
There's some interesting things I had happen to me in Venezuela. I talked with a lot of people in, the hell was the name? Heck was the name of that city. Maracaibo. And a lot of physicians and attorneys. Maracaibo?
In Venezuela?
In Venezuela.
Yeah.
And they had their jobs taken over by the government and lost 90% of their pay. And to compensate for their loss in income, they were just forced to give 3-4 rooms in their home, however many extra rooms they had, extra by what the government defined, to people who needed a home. They were paid a small stipend by the government, and that was how they were compensated for their 90% loss in revenue. Not to mention the fact that I think I was about to get my you-know-what kick just for saying that their president was an idiot out loud, which you're apparently not allowed to do. I was in Caracas then.
Oh,
there's
also
a growth industry.
Dictator, criminal thugs.
Venezuela has invented a new product. I don't know if they got one of these provisional patents on it, but it's called express kidnappings, where they kidnap someone out of their car, they take them to the nearest ATM, they take $5,000 out, end of story. So it's a volume, low-margin business, kind of like Walmart or Costco. but highly
I can solve
There's
that.
another.
Put a limit on how much you can get
Yeah,
on
they-
it.
Exactly.
yeah.
Let me read these
Then
real
they'll
quick.
just keep you longer.
Here we go. Thought I heard that only people on Social Security or SSI will receive the $250 checks. That's possible. LG of Colorado. Problem was that there was a big percentage of people who were already dead that were getting checks. Hi, Eric. Why do the doctors encourage people to start a new business when all we know, when we all know, I think is that even during normal Even during the
Easy for you to
normal
say.
economy, the rate of success for any business is very low. Also, people don't have money, so why do business when you know that nobody will spend money?
This is very important. Starting a new business and failing does not mean the story's over. Most people start, fail, and they hit it on the third or the fourth one. You can't give up. All the successful small businesses went through that. And the other thing is because you can control your own life. You don't have to work for the man. Nobody can lay you off. Nobody can fire you. It's tough, but also there are cheap resources available now.
And lots of talent. Price for everything that you possibly need to start your business is going down.
Free rent on the office building?
Yeah, for a year or more. Escalating rents, which we hear of in other times, but even more so now. The amount of talent out there that's looking for a job that you could pay less for now than you would have a couple of years ago. In my view, there's no reason not to. I am actively starting multiple small businesses simultaneously and hoping one of them will work, and you put as much effort into them as you can. And one thing, you don't have to leave your day job either to do this. Every small business I've ever started, I did while I had a day job, except for the last 4 years.
Pete in Plano, Texas, asked the same question I asked Rutledge. He says, are the small business loans down because the money is not there, or the number of new small businesses is actually down?
It's a good question, and the answer is the first one, because not only you can see it in the numbers, we talk to business owners. We have people actually call into the show, and we go out and see them in the field. Small business owners are being shut down. A small business owner needs a bank loan in order to meet payroll or buy raw materials.
Go ahead.
To specifically answer this question, the banks right now have about $3 billion in this paper that they're already holding. They don't want to be holding this. If they can't get rid of it, they don't want it. So until that $3 billion that they're already hanging on to is bought by someone, which will soon be the government with their $15 billion.
These are the SBA loans.
The $15 billion is actually something else, a treasury buy specifically for SBA loans from the banks to free up that capital. Once that happens and banks are back at pretty close to zero in terms of holding paper, I think we're going to start to see the money come back again.
Let me do this. Let me jump over. Do we have him? He's good. Brandon Millett, is that right, sir?
That's right. You got it.
Yeah, CEO and founder of the GIFilmFestival.com. Did I say it right?
Yes, GI Film Festival.
Okay, so I'm reading it, and it's absolutely a fantastic idea. Here's my question. Give us 2 seconds of what the GI Film Festival is and why there needs to be a GI Film Festival.
Absolutely. Well, I started it with my wife in 2007. We were reading down the slate of films coming out of Hollywood that were anti-military and not necessarily portraying our GIs in the most positive light. You know, you look at Redacted, GI rapes a 14-year-old girl. You look at Stop Loss, GI goes AWOL. You look at In the Valley of Ella, GI murders one of his own. So we decided that not only was this unfair, which it is, but it's also unwise. I mean, we're living in a time of war, and so the last thing we needed to be doing is destroying and denigrating our warriors. So we said, you know, there's got to be a product out there that tells the other side of the story, and it just doesn't have a vehicle. So we decided to launch the GI Film Festival, and from the very first phone call we made, this thing took on a life of its own. We had 85 film submissions in year one, 135 in year two, and this year we topped over 200 film submissions, of which we're screening 48 right now in Washington, D.C.
Okay, so you're screening in Washington. It's a great story. Where did they go from there? Do you have a top 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then do you arrange distribution deals for the top films?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, what our goal is as it is for any film festival, is to make sure this product gets into as many hands as possible. We've been lucky in our first few years. We've had 3 military documentaries picked up for theatrical distribution in 3 years, which is kind of extraordinary because it's hard to get any documentary into a theater, much less 3 of them. So we're doing a good job there. We want to get the product out there into homes, on demand, and into theaters. And so what we do is we pick the best films, we screen them, we have a Best of the GI Film Festival ceremony, we have distributors come in from Hollywood to actually scout our films, and yeah, that's the deal. We want to help these filmmakers get the word out there.
So it's going on right now, the festival?
It is right here in Washington, D.C. We launched on Tuesday night. We got 48 films and all the way through Sunday. So we've still got films tonight. We're going to be screening Taking Chance. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's an HBO production, the highest ratings in HBO history. It stars Kevin Bacon. It's the last journey of a fallen Marine, Chance Phelps, back home. And we go into tomorrow. We're going to screen films all day, all night until midnight. Same thing on Sunday. Tomorrow night we've got a great film, Perfect Valor. It's a documentary, an Iraq documentary narrated by Fred Thompson. And just a lot of great films, no matter what kind of film you like. The popcorn action film, the patriotic tearjerker, the intense combat film. We've got them all over the course of the 7-day festival.
First of all, let me read this email from Sandy. She says, one of my new heroes, the GI film guy. So you're doing a great job. You're tapping a need. You found a niche that people were looking for. Dani, I see the two of you guys shaking your heads here.
Yeah, well, first of all, Taking Chance is an absolutely amazing, brilliant movie. So
your life will not be the same after you watch
that movie. It's incredible. You're doing an awesome thing, Brandon. You and I have something in common. That's that we do, and John, do everything we can to help the military. I work for a couple of military universities. And, you know, people don't realize is we have a lot of military overseas right now in Iraq and Afghanistan that are actually going to school full-time, earning their degrees
in
while
between
they're overseas,
missions.
in between missions, and then apologizing for turning in their assignment late because their Humvee just got blown up. These people are incredible. We do not give them enough credit. I am sick and tired of all of these people bashing our military. I see it all the time in this city, and it drives me freaking nuts. These are the people that protect our country and our freedom, and it's about damn time that somebody do something good. And my hat's off to you. You are awesome.
And by the way, returning military are among the people that are the greatest entrepreneurs starting companies.
John, I want to talk to you about that. But stay with us, Brandon, for 1 second. First of all, Scott loves you. Scott loves what you're doing. He's in Indiana. We had a guest on here 2 days ago who pointed something out. In fact, I'll tell you who it was. It was the guy from Pursuit of Happiness, Chris Gardner, who made a point that the returning military are of the highest unemployed, the highest homeless population, the highest growing homeless. How can we do that to them? How is it possible that they're forgotten like that or not hired? The point being, we had a guy who was starting a networking site for jobs, and we said, hey, carve out a niche for people coming back from overseas.
It's a great idea.
But are we not taking care of these guys?
That's unconscionable. It actually is, because returning military make, first of all, the best team members and employees.
Leaders.
And second, they need working capital to start businesses for them and their families. Our first week in our Saturday show, we got a call from a guy named Terry, who was a disabled veteran, and he wanted to work. He was a bookkeeper. The next week, we got a call from another fellow who wanted to hire Terry to be his bookkeeper.
Terry has a business.
We need to plug the people together coming back with businesses to give them
employment. We're going to lose Brandon Seidel in a couple of minutes, so Brandon, I want to give you a couple more minutes here. What's your favorite film? What's it deal with?
Well, I'm glad you guys are bringing up GIs coming back and needing jobs and getting into industries, because one of our goals is to get more GIs into filmmaking, right? So we want to correct this problem in Hollywood by getting more folks out there who can appreciate the quality and character of our men and women in uniform. So you asked me favorite film. These are kind of all like my kids, these films, but I'm going to pick one. It's a film called Triangle of Death on Sunday. We love this film because it's a GI filmmaker. It was shot by a Marine Corporal, Fola Tamba. And on the third day of shooting, he hits an IED, the camera blows up, he refuses medical treatment to keep on filming and keep making this film. So we're going to be screening that one on Sunday. So that's one of my favorite films because it's a GI filmmaker, and we have a few of them in the festival this year. What's
the best way to get in touch with you for a GI or someone who knows a GI who wants to get involved? Where's the best place to find you?
Definitely go to the website, gifilmfestival.com. Check us out. Send us an email. If you know GIs who want to make films, great. If people just want to get involved with the festival because they like the idea of it, and we need to keep this festival on the cultural landscape to counter some of the messages that are coming out of Hollywood and in the mainstream media.
Well, how are you paying for it?
That's a tough question. Well, we have great sponsors. We really do. I mean, we have companies like Target who have stepped up. American Airlines is a sponsor of Vice, TriWest Healthcare Alliance. So we have sponsors who come and help pay for the festival. And that's really, we depend on the donations of generous people as well. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. So if folks like what we're doing and think they want to see us around, then they can feel free to go to the website and make a tax-deductible contribution to the GI Film Festival.
All right, Brandon, we're going to lose you in about 20 seconds. Thank you very much, Brandon Millett. GIFilmFestival.com going on currently. Doing a great job. Fight the fight. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate the time.
All right. Well, good stuff, right?
Awesome
Yeah,
stuff.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we actually, in my view, need an entirely separate loan bucket through the SBA to help veterans and retired military and so on.
A lot of very, very positive emails. Where the automotive entrepreneur seems like a great opportunity right now. Pete, what the heck are you talking about, dude? Automotive entrepreneurs.
We had an entrepreneur on our show last weekend who built an electric motorcycle and is selling it, and it's a $10,000 a pop.
It's not new,
And
though,
it's
John.
not new, but electric motorcycle that goes fast and is fun to ride is something a little different, and the battery technology is new.
That's
so
it,
you're not going to invent something without four wheels on the ground. You're going to have to invent some different way of getting around that's maybe lighter, less fuel or more fuel efficient, or less expensive.
All right, we're in the process of being joined by the lovely
Hey,
Jamie Maglietta, Fox News Extra. Jamie, you've been here before.
Yes.
What did we talk about last time? What was the last issue that we?
Fox News Extra.
Fox News Extra was launching, or it was
No,
in
Fox News Extra has actually been on the air now for 3 years. We had our 3-year anniversary yesterday.
What is Fox News Extra?
And Fox News Extra airs during the commercial breaks abroad in over 85 countries.
Ah, that's right.
Yes.
That's right.
So when you travel abroad, you need to watch Fox because you will get extra bonus features, health segments, celebrity interviews, profile pieces, writer's block segments. And I came on today so I could show you a peek at one of the segments you can watch on Fox News Extra while you travel.
You have it lined up?
Yes, I do.
All
It's
right.
called Global Brand. It's the Global Brand author Nigel Hollis speaking with FBN's Chris Cotter. So here's a clip.
Now, I hear all the time, we talk about all the time that the global economy is dying, right? It's dead. But you don't think there's a global customer. Explain that to me.
Well, clearly we live in a world where business has become global and, Friedman has told us the world's flat. But people experience that economy locally. I mean, they hang out in the local bar, they mix with local friends, they watch even local news. So when they experience that economy, it's very much local.
Mm-hmm. So having that local understanding, if I'm a firm and I want to make that move from local to regional to national, even national to global, how important is it to know that local economy and that local market, and then maybe use people from that local market to get in there?
A brand grows up. People grow up with the brand. It develops a strong bond with the local consumers. That's how it grows its market share, because people want to buy it, they're willing to pay a premium for it, and they're willing to stick with it when times get tough.
Nigel Hollis goes on to give tips about how you can create your own global brand. One suggestion he had is investigating and really understanding the culture of the country that you're going to launch your brand in, or even the local town. He says to try to work with the local community and culture to benefit. And so there are other segments on Fox News Extra that you can watch, and hopefully you'll check out Fox when you're traveling. You can also email us at foxaroundtheworld@foxnews.com, or you can check us out on the web at foxnews.com and click on Fox Around the World tab.
What a global brand. Is that even, can you just walk right into, what are you doing?
The carrot is here, so no. I just noticed there's a carrot here. I didn't realize the camera was still on me, so it was like this. And
That's the strategy room carrot. How many Facebook friends does that thing have now?
He has a lot of friends.
He's three-way. Let's see.
He has more than John.
We're doing a push to
Get
get
him over the hump,
1,000
yeah.
Facebook friends for Garrett the Carrot, strategy room carrot. I'm sure that'll do it right there.
Either you
JB
sign up or I'll
You
grab
know-
him by the hair and rip him out of the ground.
JB,
Seriously.
right.
So,
Right.
So when you're traveling, you can watch Fox when you travel.
Anywhere.
Yes.
We're
We're in over 85
I actually got an
countries.
email from someone saying, I can't get you because for whatever, on Long Island, Long Island, FBN, hello, pick it up. Pick up the phone and call Cablevision and tell him you want FBN. But he's in Rome. He saw it in Rome. He saw a happy hour in Rome. He's like, that's great. Can't get me on Long Island. You get me in Rome. But how many countries?
We're in over 85 countries. You can watch Fox when you're traveling through Europe, South America, Asia. It's in a lot of countries. We're picking up people every year. It's a great. And what's wonderful about it compared to CNN is when you do travel, you get to watch not continuous coverage, but you get additional features and bonus segments. So.
Can you get Fox in Korea?
North or south?
South Korea military base.
Well,
military
in
base,
North Korea, you can't even get hot
Right,
water.
can't
So, I was there 2 weeks ago.
Is Fox News in Israel? They want to know. Bob wants
Yes,
to know.
hot. It's on Hot and Yes. The systems, Hot and Yes.
There are two systems, Hot and Yes.
Yes, that offer Fox. And Fox is in hotels. You can also catch it in airports and individual homes.
I'll be traveling to Israel this coming September. Will I be able to see Fox News Extra in Israel?
Yes, if you're watching Fox, it depends on where you're going. But if you are traveling abroad and you can't find Fox, you should email us at foxaroundtheworld@foxnews.com so that we can find out how we can get Fox in the areas that you've been visiting, especially hotels and airports that you're traveling through.
Emery says you're absolutely stunning and just loves the fact that I brought you on to Strategy
Thanks.
Room. You can thank Jordan Chariton. He's the booker. He's doing a great job.
Wonderful.
All right, so what else? Anything else? Anything? What's the hot topic globally right now?
Well, with Fox News Extra, we focus on features. So right now we just put together a segment with the Miller brothers. I know that Rick Leventhal had them on a couple weeks ago. And this week we're interviewing Amy Grant. So we're going to do a profile piece on Amy Grant. So that will be coming up on Fox News
You know what you
Extra
should
also.
do? A profile piece on the Strategy Room.
You know, I think it would be fun to have a behind the scenes.
We have people emailing from around the world that watch it, right? Put it out there.
We actually have Rena Ninan just did a tour of the Jerusalem Bureau.
I saw that.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I was. Did you bring that here? Right. I did see that. I'm not sure where I saw that. Do we have a clip?
Oh yeah, there's a clip from last week. It should be there.
That was great. It was behind the scenes.
Yeah, because then you get to see what it's all about. She introduced you to producers, the newsroom in Jerusalem, and I think it's really beneficial for the viewers and the fans. They love it.
So I'm pitching the strategy.
Pitching it now, and we'll have to talk. I'll talk about it.
All right, you promise?
Yeah, of course. I'll look into it.
All right, Jamie Maglietta.
Thanks so much.
Fox News Extra. Thanks. Stick around.
Okay, great.
Danny, you sent in a couple of pictures of some businesses.
do we have the pictures?
Do we have pictures?
All right, so which one do you want? Which one? What
Just
order
pull
do
one
you have
up,
them in?
and then we'll let.
Let's do Happy Balls. These are some new business ideas that are out there right now, right? This is Happy Balls. So people are getting creative. They're finding ways to start businesses online. They're selling balls. Who doesn't want Happy Balls? Okay, then there's the Alibi Network.
Time out. Stop right there. When you email me these,
Yes.
I took it in such an inappropriate way. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Maybe it was meant inappropriately. Okay.
Get your mind out of the gutter. This is entrepreneurism.
I know. I'm already the worser person for having my mind in the wrong spot this week, so I got to straighten myself. I'm sorry. What's the next one?
Okay, Alibi Network. I don't know if we have a pic of this
Go
one or
with
not,
the
but this is the client. All right, Alibi Network is if you want to do something really naughty and you want to create an alibi, you can go here, and for a small fee, they'll create one for you. And then alibinetwork.com. There's also the Climax Gentleman's Joint. This is a drive-through strip joint. We have a picture of this one. You see that thing on the far right there? You can actually drive through, get your Climax, and then drive out. So another unique business opportunity. That guy's probably making a fortune.
Okay, so Rutledge, how am I supposed to get my mind out of the gutter with that?
Tumble.
It's like
I don't know, but it's pretty
embedded
clear.
right into the
But
gutter.
I'm pretty sure it's a service business, not a manufacturing business. Is all I can add.
Is there a tax on the services?
Got to be some kind of
It's
tax on
probably
that.
cash
Sin
only.
tax got to be at least higher than
Take
cigarettes.
cash only. We also have the Tumbleweed Farm.
Did you hear Matt?
No.
Matt wants to know if they sell Happy Balls at the Climax drive-thru.
They rent them.
I think your balls just get happy going through the drive-thru. Anyway, all right, the Tumbleweed Farm.
Friday.
$25. You get to buy a tumbleweed. How cool is that? And they'll ship it to you for free. And then the last one I had here that I thought was pretty interesting was to borrow sniffing dogs that were used by the police to see if your kids.
This one I like.
See if your kids are stashing drugs, and they'll rip up the kid's car and everything for you. Oh,
Cool.
then there's another one called the Something Store, and for $10 they'll send you something, and you don't know what it is. It might be Happy Balls, but that would be a bargain.
All right, you guys, that's it. 3:59. We got 1 minute left. Doctors and doctors, Dani Babb and John Rutledge, great friends of mine, great friends of the show, and hopefully regulars on Strategy Room.
Cool. Start those businesses.
Jamie Maglietta, Fox News Extra, and we had Brandon Millett a few minutes ago. A lot of you loved what he was all about. He was with GIFilmFestival.com, spelled just like that, GIFilmFestival.com.
And you can catch John
Pro
and I.
GI Films. Good stuff. And what?
In about 3 minutes, you can catch John and I on the Sean Hannity Radio Show, Financial Friday, and then tomorrow, 12 to 2 Eastern Time, Fox Business.
And Maddie. There's Maddie. Say hi to Maddie.
Hi, Maddie.
Have a great weekend. You guys see you Monday.
Happy birthday.